Welcome back to the Coloring Book channel. Today I thought it's been a while since I have talked about the different tools that I use for coloring books on the channel. So I thought I'd just review all of those so that you could get an idea of what kind of crayons, pencils, markers, and other things that are out there to make your coloring more enjoyable. So I'm going to walk through that with a number of things and hopefully you'll enjoy it. So first off, I obtained a set of the Castle Arts colored pencils.
These are soft core colored pencil leads. So they work kind of like crayons, but they go on much smoother and you have a lot more control in terms of shading because you can color over easily and blend the colors.
So anyways, you can see that there are a lot of different colors. They have channels, and so you can see there's even more below. Those are the greens, and I've taken some of these out because I've mixed two sets together. I started with a set of colored pencils that were 72 colors, and then I bought an upgrade with 120. So these colored pencils are very nice. They go on like pencils, and you can erase them. You can blend multiple colors on top. They have a list of all of the colors that are in the box on the top of the box. So they have all the different colors and a pretty close approximation of what each one of them look like. You can also, it came with a color test sheet, and that color test sheet allows you to rub a little bit of each pencil onto the test sheet, and then you can use that, hold it next to your drawing, and see exactly what color it's going to look like. So I've added a few little notes on this for myself, and then I also keep a scratch pad nearby, so while I'm coloring, if I want to make sure I'm right, then I scribble a little bit on the scratch pad, and then I know that that is exactly what the color is going to look like, and see how it blends in with whatever else I'm doing on the page. I'll just do something like that. So that's my Castle Arts pencils, which are very nice, and I use them a lot. The next thing I obtained, however, was these were wax-based pencils, and out there they do have colored pencils that are oil-based. The difference between the oil-based pencils and the wax-based is that the colors are a little more vibrant. They work pretty much the same, I've noticed. They smear about the same if you rub across them, but these are a little more vibrant colors. I put these in this, I took these out of this coloring rack. They had a nice little racks, but they're really hard to get the pencil out of. Even worse without any pencils being in there. So there's some nice trays that you can keep your pencils in, but I found those difficult to get in and out. It does also have this ledger of all the colors, which turns out to be very nice in terms of, picking out the colors. So that's handy. But I purchased a little carrying tray like this called a tombow. Got this at a arts and crafts store. This lid comes off, and they kind of separate like this, so you can put them in whatever location you want, whatever shape you want, and then pull out the pencil you want just based upon it. And it allows me to quickly group all the reds together, the oranges, the blues, and the purples. And so I did that. So that's a really nice set. It's a smaller set of 72 pencils. And so I use these for some projects. These are oil based. They're very pretty. The other thing that I did is I didn't like some of the, or actually I think I got these as a gift. These are Sparkle Metallic Life, and so these are, let me get it up close here so you can read it. These are fine touch colored markers, and they're mostly metallic type colors. So it doesn't look much different on the paper, but I'll do a couple experiments here and show you what they look like. And do that. So you can kind of see they're nice metallic base colors and useful for some, especially if you have metal objects like buildings, spaceships, cars, things like that in your drawings, and you want to color them with a little nicer touch, you can use those kind of pencils. So I've obtained those and added to my collection. And I just pick whichever colored pencils I want, or these oil-based pencils, I'll use those. Of course, I always continue to use crayons from time to time, particularly for the projects that involve little children, because that's what they're going to be using. I like the 96 colors box, pretty nice. It's got about everything you want. They do have some new sets for the 96 colors. There are lots of odd colors. I guess they're more modern numbered colors, but I like their traditional ones with the traditional names, like periwinkle and lavender, and this one is red orange. I can kind of guess what that is, but some of these will have razzle dazzle and things like that, and I don't really know what color razzle dazzle is until I put it on the page. So it's the Crayola markers, or Crayola crayons. Of course, they come with a sharpener in the back. I never can seem to get the sharpener to work very well, and so I typically try not to use it, but sometimes you have to. The thing that's really missing with those is they don't have very many people colors, and so I need to buy a set of, now you can buy people colored crayons, and those are really nice to have, so you can color all kinds of people. And then I have these pearl crayons that I obtained that are just some unique colors that I haven't used yet, but I plan to use on a future project. And a little bit of a sheen to them, much like an oil-based crayon might, but they're still the same kind of wax-based crayon. So that's the Crayola crayons. Next, I started going to I got some shuttle art markers. And the shuttle art markers are really nice. They are alcohol-based markers, and they have a fine, sharp tip on this side and a broad, for making broad strokes on this side. I'll show you what that looks like here on a piece of paper. So this is very handy to have these wide brush strokes on this side and very fine tip on this side. Great to have both of those. It also has the color name and number on the back of each one, and they got it on both sides. So those are very nice, and you can see that I've taken them out of the bag. They came in a bag like this, which is nice, except for carrying, I guess, if I was going places to color. But there's nothing in here to keep the pencils in line, so they just fall in there, lay any way you want. So I've typically wrapped mine up with rubber bands based upon color. And I obtained this nice spiral tray, and I just put them in like this. The greens in, the yellows together, the pinks together, blues. So I get all my pencils, and then I can just turn this around. I found this to be the quickest, easiest, best way to manage when you have a lot of different markers. So that's a really cool tool. My wife helped me find this at the arts and crafts store. And then later you'll see that there are you'll see that there's some black pencils along with the white ones. These are the black ones are a different brand of colored markers that I obtained. And I got these because I wanted more flesh tones. And you can see there's a lot of browns, light brown, very light pales, pinks. So it helps me to color people with more realistic colors. With the regular set, I only had one or two flesh tone type colors. And so I didn't think that was quite as nice. So I've added to them these flesh tone colors, and these are Celamine markers. So those are nice, and I use those. I started using those on portrait type projects. They also came with a nice chart where you could identify each color by number and then do a test strip so you could see, okay, this is what that's actually going to look like once I put it on the page. The next thing is I obtained a lot of coloring books. So here's a Paw Patrol coloring book. It's got lots of nice characters that you can color and then introduce those to your projects. The problem I have with these is the paper is really thin. And so if you're using crayons, that's fine, but if you're using markers, this will bleed right through. And I have lots of examples of where they've bled through and kind of wrecked the other side. So now, what I tend to do is make a copy of the page I want to color. And I'll pick one of these, make a copy of the page, and then use heavier paper for that copy. And I'll show you what that looks like in a minute. I've also got dinosaur coloring books. Some of these have better sketches than others for coloring. You know, that's a pretty nice dinosaur there. But a lot of these will have, you know, odd little things like that I probably wouldn't want to use. Here's one a nice building for dinosaurs, but not that interesting. And then, of course, that's a nicer dinosaur. I haven't had much luck with the dinosaurs when I color them, but I need to do some more of those. Also got a nice Crayola color and sticker book. So there's some nice sketches in here. The paper is thicker, but it's still not quite thick enough. So again, even these, I've colored some of these and they bleed through and wreck the picture on the other side. So what you'll probably want to do if you get something like this and you're going to use markers is run another copy of it, just one-sided with some heavier duty paper. I have a number block, obtained a number block book, and then I printed out some pictures of the standard, what the coloring blocks look like, or the number blocks look like. And then now you can see I've been sketching my way through this book. Here's one I did with markers, and you can see it bled through pretty badly. So what I did though is I did protect that page by holding a clipboard or a whiteboard like this, colored, and let it bleed onto the whiteboard page. Yeah, here's another one I did. You can see how it bled onto the page, so that's not so good. I've tended to put the whiteboard in to protect it, and then I've also thought about just only doing crayons. And if you do crayons, you can still protect it, but it doesn't bleed through, as you can see. Another book that I obtained was The Wings of Fire, and early on I did a number of dragons and posted those on the web site. I haven't done a lot of these, but I've done a few. I've tended to want to leave them in the book so I can figure out where I got them from. This is a nice one of Sunny. And I probably have another one in here somewhere. Yeah, that was another Sunny maybe. I like Sunny for Sunny disposition. So this is a really nice book for older children or even teenagers or adults. So that's another book that I picked out. Now after this, about this time I started finding beautiful sketches on the web, on various websites. So I've tended now to download those pictures, color them, and then provide links to the book in my, or the sketch in my write-up about the video. So hopefully you can enjoy them that way. Finally, let me talk about paper. You know, paper isn't just paper. This is your standard paper for copying and printing. And you can see it says 20 pounds. It says 20-pound paper. So that just means that I think a certain number of these sheets, I forget how that's counted, but basically a certain number of these sheets weighs 20 pounds. If you go to and you can buy paper in different weights. So this paper, Hammer Meal, is 32-pound paper, and so it is noticeably thicker paper and a lot easier to color on with markers or pencils, but still will bleed through. This one is HP business paper, and you can see it says here is 48-pound paper. So that's pretty thick. It's not quite cardstock, but it's close to what like a birthday card paper would be. And that's great for coloring nice pictures using markers. They don't bleed near as much, and they come out looking beautiful. So something to keep aware of. If you're going to do a lot of coloring, you're going to print things out, either get the 48-pound paper. It's still a lot of pages, more than you'll ever color, you know, for about the same price as you pay for a regular. You just get less sheets than you do for the other paper, but you still get plenty to color. Or the 32-pound. 32-pound is pretty nice. The 48-pound is preferred. And then you probably just don't want to use this 20-pound paper at all unless you're just doing crayons. Put that away.
So I talked a little bit about equipment, and I wanted to show you this nice story shelf that I got from TJ Maxx, where I put my colored pencils on top, and then in the shelves I can put some paper, the markers, there's the colored pencils, the oil-based pencils. I keep those in one shelf. On the bottom I've got room for the cases that the pencils that originally came in. I've got the markers up on one of the higher shelves, and I can just whatever I want to put in each one. I chose to put a lot of the drawings that I've colored. I put some of those in the top shelf just for handy reference, and it keeps everything organized and all together, all of my coloring projects. So that's kind of what I do with this handy tool. I got it at TJ Maxx. It was $50 and well worth it. I keep my color sample sheets in the very top, and I'll pull those out. And then I've got some metallic colored pencils. You know, at the time I did that video, I still kept them in the drawer, but later I moved them into that Tomboy box. So that's a very nice setup, and I think you'd like something like that if you are really getting into your coloring. So that's a pretty detailed overview of the tools that I use for making the pictures on the coloring book channel. I hope you enjoyed that. If not, leave it in the comments, or leave your comments that you enjoyed it. And I'll see you on the next video of the coloring book channel. I did some adjustments to the volume of the music in the background, and I thought I would also add in some examples from each of the different types: crayons, colored pencils, markers, so you could just kind of see the different effect. So I hope you enjoyed this late edition.